Hello everyone, this is Blue Owl here to tell you about summoners and their pets. Um, we're going to go ahead and get on my summoner here, and we're going to talk a little bit about summoner in PSO2. Alright, summoner is a class that makes use of pets to fight for the summoners in battles, while keeping a safe distance away from enemy attacks and so on. The summoner wields a weapon known as the Tatch. It's a not really a weapon, but it's a more like a guiding device that instructs your pets to perform attacks and photon arts. Unfortunately, the attach can only be upgraded via grinding. As for crafting and attribute grinding, it's not possible with that attach. Attach is a summoner class base only weapon and cannot be modified to have other different class uses to it. And unless, as of course, you have like, let's say, a rare-ish item known as the add class item. They're usually sell for around millions, but it is best not for you to do something like that. It's kind of stupid anyway. Um, the reason why, because most of the summoner skills on the skill tree is main class only. Let's go ahead and take a look at the summoner skill tree to get you a little better idea of why and why not, I guess. The skills on the summoner tree, as you may have noticed by looking at, involves mostly you and your pet, making Summoner pretty much ideally a main class, not a very good subclass, period, because pretty much everything is main class and their pet, something to do with your pet. So, yeah. Um, so, having Summoner as a main class is pretty much ideal. Um, and as for what subclasses you can have for Summoner, it can be pretty much any class because the way Summoner's skill tree is built, you can pretty much have any class to be your subclass. Of course, there's this and that, so I wouldn't really recommend just go ahead put anything on there. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that a little bit later. But because of the all attack bonus that it has in the pet switch strike and pet switch shoot, you can change the base T attack. That means it starts out with the T attack, technique attack, and you can switch it between either strike attack, S attack, or R attack, range attack. These these skills, the pet switch strike and pet switch shoot, are active skills, and they can, and only one of them can be active on at a time. So you can focus on pretty much one attack type. Let's say range attack, R attack, and max it out, and you can do your damage with your pet and in that R attack field. The stats in attacking and defense in Summoner are shared between you and your pet, which would mean if you had a pet to be a level 60, let's say, and you yourself, your character, was still a level 10, it could defeat pretty much any boss in normal mode with ease. Since the pet is so high and to make the combination of the summoner and pet to be on par on very hard mode. And just like the stats are shared, so are the skills of the skill tree, with the exception of HP. HP is not shared. Stats are shared, but the HP isn't, because your pet has its own HP while you have your own HP. So if I had a hunter as my subclass and put points towards, let's say, hunter's guard stance, I and my pet would both benefit from the defense skill, which would make us both tanky. Ooh, yeah, take some damage, yeah. I have a link to a simulated skill tree for Summoner posted below in the description. But let's go ahead and take a look at it through our video here. Now, do note this is just an idea of what the Summoner tree should somewhat look like. And please note the somewhat that I just said. Do note that I have points on both pet, switch, strike, and shoot. If I have already decided on which attack type I would like, I would do, like for instance, like our attack, then I would not put points towards pet, switch, strike. I would put point to pet, switch, shoot. I also put points on subclass grow up. This skill isn't necessarily needed, but it is helpful for new characters to level up their subclass, at least until the level cap. A lot of people have said that why bother putting point on it, and I say why not put a point on it, because you got plenty of points here and there, and I've already got all what I needed via this skill tree simulated that I have here. I might as well put on something that may be helpful to me. Of course, if you want to save up your point to put on something else, you're more than welcome to. This is just a simulated skill tree, and you can go ahead and apply whatever you want in your way. The most of the skill points are pretty much located on attack increase. Not much skill points are placed into defense, like HP or defense. The most basic, or that's mostly because the playstyle I have with Summoner, myself, is far away from taking most damages. The only defense that I pretty much need, since I'm so far away, is heals and my crafted units. If I do take damage, well, guess what? Oh, heal! I pretty much perfect. Yay! As for my pet, I can place some defensive candies on them. I don't really, I haven't really put any defensive candies except for like on Sally, because she's pretty weak. Anyway, and even if I didn't put defensive candies, I can still heal them when they come next to me, or I can switch to another pet when they can become incapacitated, which I usually do. It's the latter for me because, well, quite frankly, if I have 6 weapon slots, if I had 6 weapon palettes, then I'm going to use them all and have 6 pets on one each palette. Why would I not have make use of all those 6 weapon palettes? And having a full set of pets on your weapon palettes will really come in handy. I can guarantee you that. So you might as well go ahead, plan out having more than 6 pets. If you look at what I have for subclass in the simulated skill tree, you will see that I have Braver as the subclass. Braver is an ideal and versatile subclass, mostly with its weak and average stance, which raises any attack by a percent, as well as the attack advance, which raises your normal attack, and the just reversal recovery. They should just call it recovery. I don't know why they call it cover. Anyway, just reversal cover heals 20% if you do a just recover. Naming. These skills are helpful and very beneficial. Braver can also benefit all 3 attack types, since it raises attack in all attacks pretty much. You don't necessarily need to choose between S attack or R attack. However, you can always try out all the classes for a subclass. In fact, let's go ahead and just kind of review what subclasses would be, what benefits on the subclasses would have towards Summoner. Hunter, alright. Offensive, not a really great idea. The reason why, because most, as you can see, Hunter's ideal attack is with just attacks. On the skill tree, it's not ideal to have Hunter as a offensive, but you can always try. Summoners do not perform just attacks, I should note. There's no indicator or anything for just attacks. So Summoner does not do just attacks, period. Unless they come out with it in the future, but I doubt it. Anyway, defensively, you can make your pet and you to be a very tanky duo. The guard stance and the build towards the guard stance, it can help you become a tanky, and for you, it's not really needed as a summoner. For your pet, it can be helpful, but either way, Hunter is, in my strong opinion, is not something you would choose as a subclass, period. Fighter, unlike Hunter, it doesn't focus so much on just attacks, and it's not, doesn't really have anything in defense. So this makes a great offensive sub class to have in S attack, and even without the S attack plus, it does do increase of damage towards all 3 groups of attacks. With the Brave stance, it gives off a 45% addition to all attacks, which would be on par to Braver's weak stance, minus the weak charge bonus. And with Wise stance giving 65% damage increase. Now, the only problem with these stances is that you have to be attacking the front of the enemy or the back of the enemy. Brave stance, you have to attack the front of the enemy, while Wise stance, you have to attack behind the enemy, the back of the enemy. While weak stance from the Braver, you can have to attack the weak point of the enemy. If anything, Fighter would make a great attack build for Summoner, and max attack build, I should say. Max attack, instead of just good, really good attack. Anyway, Fighter would be good. For me, I don't really like having to switch between Brave and Wise, because I have to change my attack approach. I'm attacking from behind, I'm attacking from the front, I'm attacking to anyway. But still, Fighter, if you can keep up with it, it's a really, really good subclass. Ranger. Ranger is pretty much going to make use of the weak bullet, of which will increase all damage, not just yours, but any damage that comes into that weak point that you have shot with your weak bullet. All damage will be nearly 3 times. I'm just going around it. I'm not going to do all the numbers, but it's pretty much going to be 3 times the amount of damage that you would have done. Ranger also takes advantage of weak hit skill on that skill tree. You can no doubt take down bosses in a short amount of time with Ranger. Problem with weak bullet is that you have to equip a assault rifle to use it, and then switch to your pet to do large amount of damage. By switching between pet and rifle, you're resetting your rifle, of which you have to wait for a cooldown period to use weak bullet again, because when you reset your rifle, it doesn't have the weak bullets anymore. As for your pet, resetting your pet, with some pets you can do it, no problem. But for me, I make use of the pet Marron, or AKA Nuke. Yeah, that's right, he explodes. Anyway, I can't let my pet reset because it needs to build up its nuke gauge, so to speak, to do its big explosive damage. So this sub would be good, but for quite a few cases like mine, it's not a very ideal class to have. You can play around with it. I recommend trying out. Go ahead, trying out all your classes on, and find out which is best. All right, Gunner. Simply put, I'm going to say no. Gunner is just not a good subclass for Summoner, period. Anyway, aside from shoot up, you have, will bring up our attack, you have the zero range advance, which you have to be in close quarters with your enemy to get that bonus. And that's not recommended for Summoner. Also, chain trigger. Oh my goodness. Chain trigger is something that you want to build up fast with multiple hits, which makes pretty much the twin machine gun ideal for chain triggers, because you're shooting with your normal attack, shooting multiple hits and very fast and quick, and getting that chain trigger to build up. And after that builds up, you have to unleash a powerful PA. Anyway, you would have to unleash a powerful PA, and that PA would have to be unleashed fast enough and strike that target before that indicator, the chain trigger indicator timer runs out. It can happen with a gunner summoner gunner combo. I would not recommend it. It's a lot of work, and if you're really, really crazy and make really, really good use of it, I say go ahead. But honestly, this class is not really something one would go for. Period. Exclamation point. Whatever you want to choose. Alright, moving on to Force. Force surrounds itself with techniques, charge techniques, and 3 elements. To benefit from Force as a summoner, you would have to put points in all the T attack ups, the photon flare skill, and the elements. Because the only technique you're probably going to charge up is your healing, and which is Resta, and Anti, which is the cure all. There we go. Yeah. However, even if you do plan on having Force as a subclass, I would have to say that having Braver as a subclass is better than having Force as a subclass. Why? Because of percent, or so to speak, the times tables. Force only brings up points in attack, T attack, while Braver brings in the times tables. And if you take a look at your multiplications, if you do 2 plus 3, you get 5. If you do 2 times 3, you get 6. Which is more? The times. So yeah, it's simple math. That's why anything that brings up attack by a factor of times is probably going to be greater than the adding factor. Force does have a times factor to it. It's with the elements, but there are only 3 elements. And if you focus on one element, you can bring that element up to 40% increase. Yeah, but it's only for one element, which if you wanted to, you're going to go. If you just want to make one element, that's fine by me. And you can get your pets to be one element only pretty easily. But if you're looking at all the enemies out there in the game, 87 of the possible enemies that you encounter are not going to be weak to that element. So it's not bad, but it's not that great either. So it's not. I wouldn't really recommend Force. I would recommend Braver more, but that's up to you. I also on my summoner, I have a pet elemental weak hit, which takes bonus if I were attacking with a pet of that weak element of the enemy. And if I had Force with only one element focus on it, then it's not really going to take advantage of that pet elemental weak hit. You can still try it, but from what I've read, from a lot of people that have posted on quite a few websites. Not very many people like having Force as a subclass to Summoner. Alright, moving on to Techer. Techer is similar to Force, I guess you can say. However, it does have this one elemental weak hit skill. This one elemental weak hit skill, which kind of works in synergy with the pet elemental weak hit. In addition, there's also the light mastery bonus, of which 50% of pretty much all of your enemies are weak to. Or, namely, all Darkers are weak to. And you will counter Darkers almost everywhere. There are some places like Tokyo that you will not encounter them. But then again, if you look at the place Ruins, that's pretty much all Darkers, only Darkers kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of balanced out. You can also put points in PP Restorate and PP Convert, which will help you restore all that PP you lost in performing powerful pet PAs. You can also put points in some support skills to benefit you in some way, but the really good support skills are kind of like main class Techer only. But there are some that doesn't need to be a main class. But yeah, Techer can be beneficial. A lot more beneficial than Force, in my opinion. Next class, Braver. I already went through that, I guess. Bouncer. Bouncer hasn't really been known as a good sub for most classes. Mostly because all of the skills in that skill tree is conditional. It's either pretty much based on the equipment that you have and or conditions that you have to be met with, like shift the buff where you have to be in the air to get that bonus. It's not recommended to have Bouncer as a subclass or a subclass for any class, really. Alright. But yeah, that's pretty much the general idea of all the subclasses for Summoner.